Hey there guys, it's Salis, and today I have the pleasure of announcing to the YouTuberverse, Scribblenauts Unlimited. I'm bad at this. And also, Scribblenauts Unlimited, it's finally got a UK release date. So, to start as we always do, Scribblenauts Unlimited has a fantastically suited graphic style. And by that I mean it's presented in this kind of cartoonish 2D construction paper style, which for a game of this type is absolutely perfect, because when the principal mechanic of a game is being able to spawn anything in the world into existence, including a mechanical Cthulhu, it really helps to have a more innocent and fantastical style. The animation, what little of it there is, also follows the cartoonish theme, with characters flinging their legs around as they run, and you can even see the construction paper design more so during the animations, because you can see all the joints and where they're created with like paper pins and stuff. And the individual objects you can create in the game are just as diverse as all other Scribblenauts outings, with some wonderful representations of almost anything. And with the new adjective additions, you can further customize these items. For instance, on more than one occasion I have spawned in a powerful diamond laser cannon, or an enormous fast-flying purple griffin. And these adjectives do significantly alter the designs. So clearly a lot of work has gone into the design and artwork for this game, and it is very, very good. The sound follows suit with some absolutely delightful music throughout, with each stage having distinct and catchy music. On several occasions now, I have even found myself humming the main theme, even days after playing it. So I suppose in that respect it's borrowed heavily from the Lemming school of staying power, and that's a good thing. Normally I would comment on the voice acting, but Scribblenauts Unlimited has none. Any and all dialogue is provided either by text, meaning once again gamers will have to learn to read, or by simplistic, thought bubble graphical representations above the character's head, which is perfectly charming, but there are points in the game's story, mostly in cutscenes, where characters do quote-unquote talk, but it's replaced with blah 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 in place of voice acting, and lets the animation tell the story visually, which again is a really good idea. And I suppose it could be a lot worse. They could have gone for the ear sodomy, which is sim-ease. The sound effects in this game are just as varied as the items you can spawn in, with all items having some kind of unique sound to them. My personal pick for best sound effect, however, is the Griffin's cry as you mount and as you fly around. There really is a richness to the world which is helped infinitely by some great sound, and for this PC version they seem to have gone all out with the sound design because it really is quite impressive. Now the gameplay of Scribblenauts Unlimited is simple but effective, if not a little too easy. The game is based around a single mechanic, your notebook, which can summon in anything and everything from nothing, in order to help you acquire stars, because it is always stars, or money, and in some cases stars are money, and oh, that hurts my brain. So, if someone is in need of something, you simply put in a request to the Synapse and summon it into existence. Or if someone needs changing or adapting, you simply add adjectives to them and assign them their respective properties, or just make them suffer. This caused one particularly cruel but hilarious moment. When tasked with getting a ball out of the yard of an old man who would chase and attack you if you entered the yard, I decided to make him blind, deaf, then removed his legs, leaving him forever to fester in the blazing sun. There is a feature in the game that allows you to create custom objects and upload them to the Steam Workshop, but for the story mode of the game it's fairly irrelevant because the developers already put in all the correct items into the game. Of course, it is hilarious to spawn in the entire cast of Adventure Time and watch them get slaughtered by a giant Cthulhu, or watch the Ice King chase Princess Cthulhu. And speaking of Cthulhu, it was nice to have him in the game, but this just made the game a joke. I kept trying to see how many problems I could solve using nothing but Cthulhu. Someone needs defending? Spawn a protective Cthulhu. Someone needs killing? Spawn the Great Old One. And of course, you can just destroy the overworld by pitching him against a giant angry Shoggoth. The missions in the game are broken up by various different areas in the overworld. Sometimes it's a person who has a specific need which you need to fulfill, Or sometimes it's a person who will give you a set of submissions on their own. And you can help them with these missions, of course. And they're more focused, but they transport you to a little pocket dimension where only this mission exists. And for a game like this, it really breaks the flow. If it had just been about finding people to help and helping them, it would have been fine. But I don't think adding these specific mission sets within a level, so it's like a level within a level, was the best idea. I mean, these things could have been a level unto themselves. And the method which you travel the world is unlocked after the first area you complete, called Downtown. You go back to your sister, who we'll get to later, and she gives you a magic globe that allows you to teleport at will to any area you've uncovered on the map. Alternatively, in some levels there are doors to the next and the previous level. So if you were after a more linear, more story-focused progression through the game, you could use these. But the teleport option really does open up the world to the player, and gives them a great sense of, I can do these in any order I want. And I suppose this is okay, but given how easy and repetitive it gets after a while, you kind of feel like you've done this task already. And coupled with the easy nature of the puzzles, makes the game seem quite dull after a few hours. But the worst mechanic in this game is if you wait too long, it actively tells you how to solve the problem. I only noticed this because I had to answer my phone mid-game and it told me to spawn a specific item and give it to a specific NPC, but it removes all challenge from the game. And I know this is a game designed mostly for children, but really, we should at least challenge them. It kind of makes the whole game aspect of this redundant for me. As far as story goes, this game has a unique kind of story. In that it's a standard, you did something bad, you will suffer. But it did switch it up, and it switched it up significantly. Or at least significantly enough to be worth mentioning. The basic premise is, you and your sister are given 2 magical artifacts, left to you by your grandfather. You, Maxwell, receive the all-powerful notebook, which can create anything by summoning it from the synapse. Whereas your sister Lily gets a magical globe that allows you to teleport anywhere on Earth. One day you're both kicked out of the house and sent on a magical adventure. You come across an old beggar and he asks you for some food. So you, being a bit of a dick, create rotten fruit. He then eats the rotten fruit, gets really pissed off and casts a spell on you. Because apparently in this world all hobos are wizards. But you think the spell did nothing, but it slowly starts turning your sister into stone as punishment for you being a dick. Attention, Mr. Hobo, isn't that a bit harsh? She didn't poison you, so don't use your wizardy powers. So you go to this farm, owned by your hillbilly brother, and believe me, this family is huge. Maxwell has more brothers and cousins than a Catholic bunny. And through the magic of redneck wisdom, you are told you can reverse the effect by collecting a large quantity of stars, starites, and nothing else, and that people will provide you with stars, or at least parts of stars, if you help make them happy. So you've resolved to use your angeloid summoning powers for good and not just for fun, so you set out in the world to help people and acquire a small galaxy. Now, while this story is quite simplistic, I like the fact that they switched it up a little bit where the punishment wasn't bestowed upon you, but instead on someone that was close to you and mattered to you. So I think that's worth a mention. You're definitely going to get points for your storytelling there. Now, much like the rest of the game, the controls are simple but effective. A and D to move left or right, W to jump or fly if you're smart and have a griffin or a jetpack or wings or a dragon or Cthulhu. So there's a lot of flying options. S to descend, so fairly standard stuff. The notebook is used by one of 2 methods. The enter key to quick spawn an item, or you can click with the mouse to interact with people and objects and open a notebook from the interactions menu. This is how you apply the adjectives or spawn an item specific to their needs. It's also how you find out what they need, because on the interactions menu it tells you their problems. In fact, from the interaction menu, you can also ride mounts and vehicles and steal anything being held by an NPC. Apparently, you can still be a dick and steal things, as long as you don't use the notebook. Everyone is cool. And I'm pleased to say that this game is phenomenally well optimised. As usual, I tested this on my massive beast of a rig and my mid-range kind of consumer level laptop. And I'm happy to say the game runs very well on both. On the laptop, the frame rate I got was only slightly lower than the rate I got on my beast. I've seen that some people have found a bug which causes the frame rate to drop almost in half when they're manipulating objects. But this seems to be an issue with their copy of the game rather than an issue with the game itself. So I would imagine that if you have a lower end system, this should still be playable, and I would totally recommend you do it. Replay value is a major downfall for this title, I feel. Once you've saved Lily, there is nothing else to do other than screw around and play with the Steam Workshop creations a bit. After that, there's not really much. All you can really do is reset all your data and play through the story again. But I suppose this is a remnant of the beginnings of the series on Nintendo DS, where replay value wasn't such a concern to it due to it being on handheld. But now it's on PC, Wii U, etc, etc. Replay value is something that needed to be considered. But I suppose if you really want to play it again, the story's still good, and you can try and screw around with the item choices you solve the puzzles with. So if that's the kind of thing you're interested in, then more power to you. So in conclusion, Scribblenauts Unlimited is competent but bland. The puzzles are all very easy and all very similar to each other. After a while, it just ends up a colourful mess of lasers, griffins and Cthulhu. And not really enough in my eyes to justify its almost £25 price. I would give Scribblenauts Unlimited a 5 out of 10. So thank you for watching my review of Scribblenauts Unlimited. Remember to like and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already for more reviews and gaming nonsense. I've been Salis, this has been Scribblenauts Unlimited, and I will see you next time.